breaking barriers to achieve their goals. Some of the greatest athletes in the world look to her for mental strength training and inspiration. And her groundbreaking work with the NBA, MLB, NFL, and NHL incorporates personalized game plans for life and leadership. And now she's bringing that driven mindset to Sunrider. Please take a look at this. All right, ladies and gents, please welcome to the stage, Coach Dar.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody's hands go up.
And they stay there. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Truly, it's such an honor. To the Chen family, thank you. Deb, my dear friend, thank you for having me out here. Everyone in the family, thank you. And I love what the family just shared, because some of you know me from hearing me last year, and some of you I may be new, but family is so important. I come from an Italian family on the East Coast. We grew up in Connecticut. They're all between Connecticut, New York, and New Jersey, so I speak funny. But I say that because I grew up with a family just like the Chen family, and saying we had Sunday dinners, and my mother would cook, and everyone would come over. And you know, a bunch of Italians, when they get together, they don't stop talking. However, when the food comes out, no one's talking because it's so good. But what happens is that starts to develop this culture, and that's what we grew up with, where everyone was welcome. They all came over, and we all got to be together. And there was so much that grew from that. And I really believe Sunrider for 40 years has been developing this culture of such family and such depth, where meaning and connection and purpose and amazing products have grown from this. But it started from tradition, from family, from setting the stage here in the foundation so 40 years could grow from it. And that's not to take lightly. It's beautiful. And so I'm honored to, when I was listening to this, I thought this is so perfect, because it's a lot on what I'm going to speak about today, which is about how to rise. Today, I'm going to speak with you on rising up, about reigniting the fire within you, about doing the things that you know you've been called to. And I want to remind you that we are in the greatest time to be in this industry and business, because while we know the global economy, well, it's like a roller coaster. It goes up and it goes down, and it goes up and it goes down. Well, that's life too. And you got to learn to ride the waves. But here we have an opportunity to create a business, to be able to get into a business, to be a part of it, to thrive in it. Having the blessing of worked in this industry for years now, I'm telling you, this is one of the greatest times to be in this kind of industry and business. It really is. I get excited for you, because this is the time that you get to choose how you want to live, choose how much you want to grow, choose how much financial freedom you want. You get to choose, because you have an opportunity by being a part of Sunrider. Amazing products, a wonderful family, a great culture, a great team. I mean, you have the making for greatness. And in my work, that's what I do. I help people reach greatness. And I have the honor, I'm just going to share a little bit about my background. Some of you have heard it, so I'll share again in case you forgot some of it. And for some of you, it'll be new. But in my world, I started out as an occupational therapist, and I started taking care of traumatic brain injury patients and stroke patients. And where I was working in Connecticut, they were some of the toughest cases around the world. Christopher Reeves came to our hospital because it was a premier facility. And I say that because I help people overcome the most extreme odds. And then at 25 years old, I was married at the time, and I suffered a stroke. I had gone to see a chiropractor. It was one of those freak accidents, but when they manipulated my neck, they ripped the artery to my brain. And so I was bleeding my brain, but I did not know that I was bleeding my brain. And so I went home. And the reason I gone to the chiropractor because I had sciatica. And I think about this now as I tell this story. So I left with no sciatic pain. It went away, but I had a new pain in my head. And what happened was slowly I started to get symptoms. And while I didn't get paralysis, I had a lot of vestibular symptoms. But here's the thing. I bought the book, What to Expect When You're Expecting, and I was going to start a family. But then I was diagnosed with a stroke and a blood clot. And they said, where this is, we cannot operate on it. So good news is scar tissue will probably develop around it. But the bad news is, Dar, is that you can't have children. And you have to be careful because you could die any day if this clot dislodges. Blood pressure could push it. So I'm 25 years old. And I'm sitting there going, I could die any day? I thought, this can't be happening. The patients I'm helping and kind of where I am, it was almost this unbelievable serendipitous moment where I really understood what it meant to have to rise back up from adversity. So I did. But here's what happened. I had a lot of gumption in me and a little bit of naiveness. And I said, well, if I could die any day, I kind of lost fear. And I said, well, then I'm going to go try to fix healthcare. And there was an opportunity at the hospital I worked at to help run the healthcare company. And I applied for it. So you can imagine I didn't get it. But the COO of the hospital, she was a female, and she asked me to come for the interview. And I sat down and she says, Dar, number one, you're not getting the job. You need to go back to school for business. But number two, you have enough gumption and a little naiveness that I think you could do this. So at night, I went back to school and I ended up running a healthcare company by 28. I say that because I was driven by passion. I was driven because I wanted to see change. I wanted to be able to help people so that they could then rise up. So it's been a constant theme in my life. And I went on and ran about 5 different companies around that time. And until about 2008, when the world was crashing, and I decided in 2008, I'm going to leave everything that I know, because it was like watching an accident happen where mental health was on the decline. People were losing their jobs. They were losing money. They had to relocate. So you could imagine people were very scared in 2008 with what was happening. And I thought, you think this is the end? You think that there's no more going on? You think that just because you had to relocate or you lost your job or whatever it may be, that this is it? Let me remind you, when in the times of adversity, you do not put a period where they're intended to be a comma. This is a pause, not the end. And when we get in adversity, that's what we think, that it's over. So I left everything I knew. I left financial security. I left it all. And I started my practice in 2008. And I started speaking for free on mindset all over. The first people that came were about 20 people. They were my friends. But then the audience started to grow. And I say that because, think about it. In the middle of adversity, I left for what I was passionate about because I felt called to go help people. I could not sit on the sidelines. We're entering in this. We came out of a tough time and we're globally in a little bit of a challenge. But this is the greatest time for you to lean in to where you feel called, to step up, to be a part of Sunrider in a way that you've never been. I'm going to talk about 4 points about reigniting your passion and rising up. This is the time. Do not let fear get in the way. So in doing that, it's led me to this career where now I coach CEOs around the world as I'm a clinical therapist, and I coach people on their mindset, on leadership, human behavior. I help human capital so you can develop capital, but in a purpose-driven way. And I've been able to speak around the world and help people and rise up and help them reach their greatness. Now, here's the thing. I'm not any different than you. I just focus really hard on this. This is where I spend my 10,000 plus hours in. What I'm saying is you have it within you. You have it within you to truly make your life as great as you can, to shift your mindset. I'm shifting people's mindset all the time. Neurology is my background. And all it takes is a shift in your belief system, a shift in where you want to be, a shift in where you think you're called to. You can shift if you choose to believe. So I'm going to tell you 4 points as we keep going here. And these 4 points, I want you to just go on this journey with me. I want you to take it into your mind and hear it maybe in a different way, then move it into your heart and feel it. What does it mean for you? And then put it into your hands and do something about it. Because you could go to conference after conference after conference, but if you don't take the knowledge and start applying it, nothing changes. And I don't want a life for you of average. I want a life of exceptional. I want a life of excellence for you. I want a life of greatness for you. Why? Because why not? You know, and the chance when I'm working with some of the best athletes around the world, I get to look and I get to say to them, you know, what does it take? Now I know, but I want to hear what they have to say. And I'm working with an amazing NFL quarterback right now. And I said, what does it take to get to the Super Bowl? And he said to me, you know what it takes, Dar? It takes this level of excellence and commitment, and then it takes consistency. He says, if you can't be consistent, you can't reach greatness. So in this business too, it's about not only having the passion, but it's about being consistent every day, doing something new, applying it. And I'm not just talking about business, I'm talking about your life. You want your relationship to grow, be consistent in it. You want your family to grow, be consistent. You want your health to grow, be consistent in it. You want your personal development to grow, you want to grow as a person, be consistent in it. I'm in the business, and I do this myself, of consistently trying to learn, feed myself, feed others, grow, because I know that's how we're going to rise. So I want to talk to you about 4 points. The first point that I want to talk to you in rise, R is going to be release the weight that's weighing you down. Release the weight that's weighing you down. So listen, you know, and I know that in life, we cannot move if we have too much weight. We start to break down. This is physically and mentally. So in saying this, I'm talking right now about the mental weight. We don't even realize it, but we're going around in life and we can't rise up to our full potential, even in Sunrider, in our life and our relationship, because we're carrying around weights, mental weights all the time. One of the weights that you might be carrying around might be this need for perfectionism. And let me tell you, the need for perfectionism gets really heavy, because while I want you to be great, I want you to make progress. And by making progress and healthy progress, it will start to really develop and grow into something great. But when you're trying to make it perfect, so much so that you get paralyzed, well, what if I make this phone call and it doesn't go exactly how I want? What if I engage with this person and it doesn't go like I want? And you're so paralyzed by how it could go that you never even get out of the gate, and perfectionism starts to weigh on you. The other weight that we start to carry is we start to carry this weight of comparison. We're constantly comparing ourselves to, well, look at how they did it. Well, they're doing it really well. Well, I saw this on social media and look at, that's just so much better. Or they've been doing it for so much longer. I don't think I could get involved in this. What if I don't do it well? And now you're comparing yourself over and over and over to everyone else. You're even comparing yourself in relationships. You're comparing yourself in your health. You are on your own journey. You know, one of the things in competition in sports is that while we look at film of the competitor, we turn around and we say, your biggest competitor is you. You don't need to compare yourself to anyone else. You just need to be your best version, and you want to compete with the person you were yesterday, so you can work to be better every day. That's who you can compete with. Don't worry about comparing yourself with anyone else. By the way, Sunrider is here 40 years. You know why? Because they continue to focus on what Sunrider needs, on making the best products, on creating the best culture, on creating the best team. You're also focused on what you want to do well, that you don't even have to worry about the competition. Because when you worry on you, it takes care of itself. You're so far ahead because you're not worried about looking behind. Did you ever notice, by the way, that our cars are made with a bigger window in front of us and a small rear view mirror? Because you're not supposed to be looking back driving. You're going to get in an accident. You want to look ahead because that's where your view is. So stay focused on where you want to go. You don't have to worry about what's behind you. You glance at it to learn from it, but you don't stay there. You go forward. So don't worry about comparing. The other comparison that we have is this comparison. The other weight that we have is sometimes the weight of shame, meaning you might have tripped up. You might have done something. Something might have happened and you start beating yourself up, and then you hold yourself with this weight of shame, of this weight of, what did I just do? Why did I say it that way? And you just start on this negative trail and it just gets heavier and heavier on you. So you're holding a mental weight. You have a mental weight of needing people's approval. And when you need people's approval, this really starts to weigh you down, because now you're waiting for someone else to give you approval that you already have approval. Go take your life and your journey wherever you want it to go. You don't have to wait for someone to give you the validation that you could do this in Sunrider, that you could build an amazing team. Don't wait for someone to give you that approval. By the way, take yourself out of this. We have a culture and a world where people are waiting to be famous to feel like they're approved. You already are approved. You're here, you have approval. And by the way, the people that we're waiting for approval on are people we don't even know. Think about how funny that is. You're not asking for approval more often than the people in your own inner circle. You're waiting for someone you don't even know to give you approval of what? Something you already have within you. Your greatness is there. You don't need their approval. Focus on you and you will rise up. See, what happens is we just start to carry all of these weights, and the weights get heavier and heavier. And as I've been standing here, let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, we have about 14 pounds here. Doesn't seem like a lot. 14 pounds after a while starts to feel heavy. You don't even realize it, but you're carrying around way more than 14 pounds of mental weight. And what I want you to do to rise up is let it go. Drop it. Right now, I want you to drop the weight. I want you to be able to rise up. My hands are actually really lighter from holding that. Thank you. What you do is you feel lighter when you let go of the weight. So I want you to release that. You don't have to carry it anymore. You already have what you need within you, and you just need to keep working on that to make it better. The second point I want to make is to ignite the passion inside you. I want you to reignite your why. I talked a little bit about this last year, but when you connect to why you're doing something, you could surely rise up higher. And you want to find the thing that really excites you. Why are you in this? Why did you get involved in Sunrider? What do you need to do to reignite the fire within you so that you can keep going further? When I was just sharing about the NFL quarterback, we were talking about a game and we were talking about plays that didn't go well. And some of the players already started to get a little defeated. It's only 2 weeks into the season. I was like, well, we got a lot of work to do. I said to him, you have to help people get reignited to their passion. I said, because if this doesn't go exactly as planned, we don't know what the season's going to do. I said, I need you to turn around and ask them, why are you here? See, this is the thing. In order to make it through adversity, you really got to be ignited. You have to reignite your passion, be connected to your why. Because if you're not, when it gets hard, it's going to be easy for you to exit. And it's going to be easy for you to give up. You know, your relationship gets hard. And all of a sudden, you're like, oh, this is hard. If you're not connected to why you're in it, it's going to be like, I'm out. Oh, when you're trying to work out and you're trying to get healthy and it gets hard, because it does get hard doing every day, and you don't understand why you're doing this to be healthy, you're going to stop. When it gets hard and you make the phone calls for people to share about the product or be a part of the team and you hear no, but you're not connected to your why, it'll be easy to give up. But we know what giving up does. It never allows us to feel and experience what true greatness could be. We never get to see what can be. The reason you know about Michael Jordan, the great Kobe Bryant, Serena Williams, any of the greats is because they didn't give up. It's not because their life was easy. It's because they chose to stay in and dig in and keep fighting. And they were ignited to their passion, to their why they're doing it. With the football team I was just talking about, I said, you go back into that locker room and you ask everyone right now, why are you here? And you ask for an answer. Why are you here? Remember why you're here. I want the fire lit within you, not underneath you. You don't want it, so you need to be, the fire is constantly getting lit underneath you. You want a fire lit within you. That comes from your why. Why are you doing this? Another player I was working with, he got injured in the middle of the season. He has to sit on the sidelines and watch the games. And I said, this is just part of your career. This isn't your whole career. I said, remember your why, which is to inspire greatness. I said, you know what? You could still inspire greatness off the court too, even if you're not playing this game. So for you, whatever it is, you decide. Decide right now, as if it's your 100th birthday, you're 100 years old and we're all toasting to you. What are we toasting to you about? What is the life story that you've lived? What are we saying about you? You are the author right now. This book is being written for you right now. But you get to create the narrative. What do you want people to say about you? It's got to be coming from your why. Your why truly is your core value of what you stand for. Mine is greatness. I hope that I awaken greatness in you today, and that I awaken greatness in myself and others all over the world. And when I was going through my strokes, by the way, I didn't just have one, I had 3. My last one was just 4 years ago, and it was my worst. I lost my ability to speak consistently. I speak for a living. I had balance problems. I used to say, don't worry, I'm not drunk. I just lose my balance at times. I lost my fine motor, so I was dropping things all the time. And I have to tell you, I just said this to the quarterback and the team when they were just going through that rough moment of like, wow, this is hard already. And I said, listen, when I had my 3rd stroke just a few years ago, the doctor's like, you got to slow it down, Dar. And I thought, I'm in this position where it's hard sometimes and I have to go a lot and I'm flying a lot and I'm not home to see certain birthday parties or be with people. It's a sacrifice, but I feel it's mission driven. And I said to him, I had that moment after that stroke and I'm doing my own rehab because my insurance would not cover my rehab or the hospital. So I'm doing all my own rehab alone in Arizona in the summer. And if you've ever been to Scottsdale in the summer, it's 120. You don't want to be there. And I started to feel sad and depressed about it. And I said to my sister, maybe I just get like this little, maybe I'm going to just call it. And I'm just going to go get this little shack on the beach, ocean view. And I'm just going to call it. She goes, oh yeah, is that what you think you're going to do? I said, yeah, maybe. And she says, you'll be there not even 3 weeks and you're going to go, hey, how do you think they're doing that over there? What if we helped them out with that? Did they ever think about that? And all of a sudden you're going to be back to coaching, trying to help people reach the greatness. It's just in you, Dar. It's so in you. You just have to stay with it. Don't give up. And then I reflected on that and I thought, you could sit and ride into the sunset and think that you want to stay or retire and not do anything anymore. But I'm telling you, that's going to get really old. Everyone needs purpose. Everyone needs something that they wake up to. Everyone. So you need something to be called to wake up to. You need something. It's your purpose. It's your passion. It's your why. To sit and think you're going to just ride in the sunset and do nothing and sit around all day, it's unhealthy. And you want to help your mental health, stay connected to your purpose and your passion, and you will continue to thrive. And when you do, and it gets hard, you'll go, okay, and this too shall pass, because it will. Just like one wave hits, and then it goes back out, and then another wave hits. We just ride the waves. It's the heartbeat of life. That's what gives you true purpose. So never run away from adversity. Lead into it with purpose, with passion again. Get reignited to why you're doing this. You'll start to thrive again, and you'll be more excited about the days, because guess what? Monday is just not Monday. Tuesday is just not Tuesday. 2022 is just not 2022. Everything has more meaning. And as I'm sharing with you, we don't know what we're going to hit in our life. We don't know when our runway is going to end. So make it a great ride. The next point I want to talk to you is about seizing the moment. This is so important, to seize the moment. Do you know how many people are just walking around sleepwalking? It's like we're just existing. We just are going through life and we're just letting the world just go by. And opportunities are coming your way all the time and you may not even realize it. And it's your time to seize the moment. You know what seizing the moment is? It's saying yes to the opportunity again. It's giving people the chance to say yes to their opportunity. And it's saying no to the things you don't want to do. This is very important, because in order to rise up, to reach your greatness, to help people reach the greatness, I have to keep them focused on the things that they could seize the moment on, which is the moment in play right now. Depression is often when we think and we stay too far in the past And anxiety is when we're too caught up in the future. Stay here now so you could see the moments now, so you could take the opportunities and step into them now. Seize the moment. Say yes to the things that you want to and no to the things that you know are not aligning. And what are they not aligning to? To the version and the life that you want to live. We are living sometimes and doing things in a manner that we think other people want. Well, this is what I should be doing. I'm not talking to you about what you should be doing. I'm talking to you about what you're called to do, what you're made to do, what you're created to do. This isn't about shoulds. This is about this desire of what you feel you could and know you can do. Seize it. Let me explain a little example about seizing the moment. When I made that chance to start my own business in 2008, I said yes to what I felt called to do. And I seized an opportunity when the world was going like this and clamming in. I stepped right into it and I seized the moment to take action, to create change, to help people. Right now, you'll see the world it pulls back and then it comes out a little bit right now and then it's pulling back. I want you to seize the opportunity right now because this is prime time for Sunrider. This is prime time for you to step in and seize the moment. This is one of the greatest opportunities we've ever lived in for you to be able to be a part of this and to be able to start to create freedom for yourself and an opportunity. You know, when Dr. Chen had talked about the Uber drivers that wanted their freedom and they want their schedule on their own terms, you get to create that. It's about seizing the moment. So here it is, it's 2008, I'm running my practice. And when I'm running my practice, I'm literally treating as a therapist during the day and I'm coaching and building the practice at night. I just seized every moment I could. It was hard work, but everything good is on the other side of hard. It's not on the other side of easy. It's on the other side of hard. That comes from Monty Williams, the coach of the Phoenix Suns. I cannot take credit for that quote. But in saying that, you have to seize the moment, okay? And in order to seize the moment, there's going to be risk involved. But where there's great risk, there is great reward opportunities. And then what happened in my life is I was started to hit my stride. My practice is growing. I moved full time to Nashville, Tennessee. And then Tony Robbins' group had called me and said, we would love for you to be one of our coaches, but you're going to have to come out to be one of our live events. And I thought, well, I'm not moving because I thought I was riding into the sunset in Nashville. I was so happy. So I go to this Tony Robbins live event where you have to walk fire. And it's 17-hour days. And the first night you walk fire, it was done in San Jose. And the first night that we walked fire was great. And the group that was in front of me is a group that started a direct sales company called Origami All. And they were just started out. And they were the group taking the photo together. I walked fire with them. I didn't know who they were. We all take a photo. We all go on our way. And I think that's great. Those are great people. And I'm going to move on. By the way, side note, just funny. That night we walked fire. It made the news, national news, because the coals were too hot and people burned their feet, actually. So my father calls me from Connecticut, old-fashioned Italian, and he says, excuse my language, but this is my father. Did you see those idiots who walked fire last night in California? I said, Dad, I was one of them. I was in California and I walked fire. He goes, what the heck? I didn't raise you to do what? I raised you to be a leader. What are you doing? I said, well, Oprah Winfrey's lawyers approved her to do it. So I figured it had to be safe. He goes, clearly it wasn't. He's like, that is not effective decision making. And I think about that today. However, I seized the moment by going to this live event, very last minute. It was not a part of my plans, met the people that were in front of me. Those people had started the direct sales company. 2 weeks after that event, I get a call from one of the founders, and she says to me, you know, God's laid it on my heart that you're supposed to run my company. I said, lady, I don't even know who you are or what you do. She's like, well, my daughter and I started this small company and it's blowing up. And it's about to go global and get bigger, and I want you to run it. And I said, well, I like jewelry, but I don't really know that that's probably my best and highest role right now. She's like, yeah, no, it is. I was like, yeah, no, it's not. So I said no for 6 months until she came to my home in Nashville after I gave a talk, and she would not leave my home until basically she said, give me 1 year and help me run this company, and let's build a team and see what we could do. So I thought about it. I actually prayed on it. I wanted to go do a missions trip at that time, and I really, truly felt like this was a mission to go serve. And because I said yes and seized the moment and moved to Arizona, where I did not know one person, but now grew a family from it. Because I said yes, it made such a difference in my life. Truly changed the trajectory. And then I still was working on my practice, but then that grew from there. And then I had the owner of the Phoenix Suns say to me, I need help with the player. Actually, his exact words were, what is this leadership crap that you do? And I said, what? And he's like, what is it that you do? I have a player that needs your help. How do I know what you do works? I go, you called me. I didn't call you. So you're going to have to trust me. But my point is I said yes. And then I started helping the Phoenix Suns. And then I started helping more players. And now I am the only occupational therapist that works in all 4 leagues and major sports helping people. And it's all because I just said yes. I said yes. And I help executives and people around the world, not because I'm necessarily the smartest. I will just say I'm the most committed to what I feel called to, and will give everything to help people rise up. And I do it every day because I felt called. And this, and what I'm doing today, brings me such joy to do, because sharing knowledge and teaching is one of the greatest passions in my life. Because I hope that what I share with you, you'll share with someone else. You'll rise up to be your best. And all tides rise together when we're all working on our greatness. And by the way, do you know that greatest has the word test in it? I literally have been talking about greatness for years. And just the other day, as I'm writing it out, I'm like, greatest. And I'm like, that has the word test in it. So in order to be the greatest, you're going to go through tests. Side note, extra points for you. But they're seizing the moment. And because I said yes, I'm here today to be with you. And the last point I want to make is elevate your mindset. In order to rise up, you will have released the weights. You will have reignited the passion within you. Ignite the passion, connect to your why. You will have seized the moment by saying yes to the things you want and no to the things you don't want. And lastly, you will elevate your mindset and your standards to a way that you've never done before. And what I mean by that is I want you to start thinking right now, what does your greatest version of you look like? What does it look like a year from now in this business, having grown and the team? What does that look like? And when you really lean into that every day, you would say, okay, now what does it take every day for me to be my greatest version? This is exactly what I do with the athletes. I'm constantly in their mind saying, elevate the way you think. Do you think you could win an NBA Finals? They're like, yeah. I said, what does an NBA Finals MVP look like? What does the Stanley Cup Hall of Famer MVP look like? What was the Super Bowl MVP Hall of Famer look like? What does it look like? Now, what are you going to do every day to become that? What does it mean for you to be able to be in Sunrider and be able to truly step in your greatness, to have the freedom and the life that you want? What does it look like, and what are you going to do to get there? And I shared just this right now. In this, by the way, elevating your mindset, I wrote the book that's coming out on February 28th. You could pre-order it now. But I wrote this because I was just meaning to write a chapter, not a whole book, on the art of bouncing back. And I kept saying, wow, I don't need any more material. And another thing keeps coming, and I have to bounce back from that. And then I have to bounce back. What I'm saying to you is when you start elevating your standards and your mindset, you're going upstream, and you're going to have to work every day to bounce back, to keep fighting. But when you do, you will become one of the greats. And, you know, I carry around these bouncy balls in order to elevate. The kids will love these, so I'll throw these out there. But they're for adults, too. But I carry these around. This is how this came, is everyone starts to get so serious in life. And when you start elevating your mindset and you want the standard, even the athletes, they're driving every day. And I said, you're getting a little too serious here. And what I mean by that is life is all of a sudden, it's just going to bounce. You don't know what's going to happen. You need to be adaptable. So in elevating your mindset, you have to elevate your emotional adaptability. Ready? There you go. Oh, good. We were a good team. You want one? Oh. But in saying that, I got one more. Here you go. Yes. Hey, you better come to the Suns. But in saying that, it is going to take you to be able to bounce back constantly to elevate. And it's not easy. And you're going to have to start to set your thinking that adversity is not against you, it's for you. And you will bounce back faster. And you know what the greats do? It's not that they don't hit hard times. They just bounce back faster. They close the gap. So you have it in you to elevate. Elevate your standards, elevate your mindset, elevate how you see yourself. And when you do, you will start to become that more and more. And I want to play this song as we start talking about elevate our mindset. It's called Rise Up. And what I'd like you to do right now is I would like you all to stand with me. Stand up. And if you're at home and you're watching this, please stand up at home when you're watching this. Because what I want you to do is I want you to really feel this. Don't be afraid. Stand up. You've been sitting all morning. And I want you to think about not looking in the rearview mirror. I want you to start looking ahead. I want you to think about the things that you would be dropping from you. And I really want you to embrace what it would be like to rise up. If we could turn this up a little bit more. Close your eyes right now.
And for that we have each other. And for that we have each other. Yeah.
We will rise.
We will rise.
We will rise.
We will rise.
I want you to think about what it would feel like you rising up, you having the freedom, you having everything you ever wanted in your life. You've worked hard for it. You committed. And as a result, you're feeling right now that feeling of everyone around you rising up together. You're smiling. And you're grateful. You're grateful that you didn't give up. You're grateful that you pushed through the hard times, and you're grateful that you said yes. Yes to the opportunity. Yes to the chance. And now I want you to open your eyes. And I want you to know this. Greatness is open to all, but earned by few. I want you to answer the call to greatness and rise up. It's your time. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.